How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel today. Hope you guys are keeping well and safe. And today I've got a brand new little series of videos that I'm going to be uploading over the next few days or so, looking at a selection of free agents that Wolves should consider making a move for this summer. Now, these sort of videos are always quite difficult. One, because the quality of player, especially this window, really, there's no sort of gap, really. There's either those sort of players like your Lionel Messi's, your Sergio Ramos's that are going to be available, possibly, that obviously are out of Wolves' reach. And then there's that just sort of where the limit is in terms of where Wolves can and what Wolves should be able to sign. So, of course, some of these are subjective, and this could go out of date very, very quickly. I am cautious that some of these are linked with clubs at the moment, as you would expect, and within the next week or so, their futures could be sealed with another club, but a little bit of fun at least. Today, we're going to be kicking off the defenders that are out of contract in the next week or so that Wolves should make a move for, and players that will improve Wolves' team. And over the next couple of days, there will, of course, be midfielders and attackers as well. There was never really any plans to do a goalkeeper part of this. Of course, as of today, John Ruddy has signed a new contract to Wolves, so you would assume he'll be the number 2 goalkeeper. And if Patricio is going to be number 1, if not, it looks like it's going to be Jose Sarr. So here's 5 other players that I think Wolves should be considering. We'll kick off with number 1. It is a centre-back who goes by the name of Nicolo Maximovic, currently playing for Napoli in Italy. Had a pretty decent career, really, across the last sort of 5, 6, 7 years or so. Predominantly been in Italy during that time. At Torino, of course, playing at the top level in Italian football. Torino, a team that have, always been sort of mid to upper mid-table, really, in Italy. Of course, we played them in the Europa League a couple of years ago, and then moved to Napoli, where he's been really for the last, moved there in 2016, so been there, and of course Napoli predominantly challenging for the European spot as well. Never really broken into be a sort of number 1 centre-back there, but getting a really, really decent amount of games this season, playing 17 matches for Napoli, starting in 12 of those. We look at his percentiles here. We've used this on quite a few videos previously, and I'll use it again today. And you'll see this is Maximovic compared to other centre-backs across the top 5 leagues. You can see actually his passing is his key points here. Passes attempted, pass completion, just overall very, very solid. Even his shot creating actions are pretty strong. And then you'll go down to towards the bottom and look at the defensive side of it, and it does look a little bit disappointing, but decent for blocks. But some of the others are a little bit concerning. However, if you do compare him to somebody possibly like his Napoli teammate Kalidou Koulibaly, who is such a highly rated and highly sought after defender, you'll see that his attributes and stats are fairly similar. So it might just be the way that Napoli play just don't really suit him as a defender, or don't require Napoli to make those defensive actions that are needed for this. So you could sort of look past these stats, really. But for a player that has been at the top level and played at a top level for so long now, and I think with centre-back being a clear and obvious area that Wolves need to improve on, I think on a free transfer, Wolves could do a lot worse than Nicolo Maximovic. And we'll move on to another centre-back now, and from Nicola to Nicolas N'Koulou, who of course also plays in Italy. He's currently playing for Torino. His contract is due to expire. And we'll quickly get his percentiles up now. As you can see, his defensive stats look a lot stronger in terms of interceptions, blocks and clearances, up towards the high end of all defenders out of the top 5 leagues. He's had a really, really good career, to be honest. Over the last sort of 13, 14 years, he has played consistently at a top level, playing for Marseille in Ligue 1, and playing obviously towards the top half of the league, and then joining Lyon for a season, and then moving on to Torino, who have had a mixed bag of results. Of course, like I said, we played them a few years ago in the Europa League. The last 2 seasons have been very, very disappointing for them, and obviously they are going to be now letting Nicolo go again on a free transfer. I don't think, you know, for someone that has played at a top level, got that experience which Wolves desperately need. 31 years of age now. I think he would add that little bit of experience and quality to the team. And I think with someone like Nicolo, he's not going to be someone that just expects to play every single game. So I think that could be a very, very good and viable option for Wolves. I know a couple of big teams are looking at him at the moment. Leeds United in the Premier League being one. I think Manchester United were even considering him at one point as well. So definitely one for Wolves to keep their tabs on. We'll move on to a fullback now. We're looking at the right back. El Said Huysaj, I think it is, the Albanian right back, currently playing for Napoli again. Another Napoli player, another player in the Italian Serie A. And he is a fantastic, fantastic footballer. And I think this is going to be one that Wolves, if they had an interest in, would have some serious competition. We'll quickly get his percentiles up here. It looks like, of course, in terms of him versus other fullbacks in the top 5 leagues, got a nice little selection of different high-end percentiles, including his pass completion, decent for assists and expected assists. His interceptions are up there as well. Of course, with this one, it's quite difficult because you've paid so much money for Nelson Semedo about 12 months ago. Bringing a player of similar calibre and quality in to give him competition. You could see it as a good thing. You could see it as a bad thing. Obviously, you don't really want to unsettle those sort of players. But it will give you the opportunity to possibly loan out the likes of Keanu Hoover, Luke Matheson, of course, who's sort of in the 23s at the moment, possibly looking with a view to maybe getting into the first team. But Huysaj has got a huge calibre. Again, another player that has played predominantly in Italy and done really, really well at the top end of the Italian division over the last 3 or 4 years. They even rejected a €40 million bid a few years ago from Chelsea. That's the sort of quality and calibre of player that we are dealing with here. At 27 years of age now, still got plenty of time in his career and can definitely offer Wolves something. And I know a couple of big teams are looking at maybe bringing him in on a free transfer this summer. The next one is a bit of a reach, I think. This is going to be the biggest one that some of you may think, yeah, okay. And some of you may think, what are you talking about? It's going to be Jerome Boateng, currently playing for, of course, Bayern Munich in Germany. And you just look at his history and stats, the amount of trophies he's won during his time at Bayern Munich is ridiculous, really. And it looks like he's going to be leaving the German club on a free transfer this season. Again, similar to two of the other players, never being a player that has played every single game for Bayern, but played a very, very big chunk. Played 29 games for the champions this season. He got 7 games in the Champions League as well. And we'll get his percentiles up here again. Similar really to Maximovic in terms of the defensive side of things, are a little bit low. But how often do you see Bayern have to defend? So they're always going to be low. But you see his passing really, really strong for passes attempted, pass completion. And even his attacking stats, his non-penalty goals compared to other defenders, his assists and expected assists as well. So really, really strong player. And, you know, with his experience. Now, you may think this one is far-fetched, but I think if you can guarantee him the game time, possibly even guarantee him some sort of leadership rights in the team in terms of captaincy, maybe. I know Connor Cody's in the squad, but if someone like Boateng is going to come in alongside Willy Bolly in a back 4, you can maybe say you're going to be vice-captain and you're going to be captain in the side whenever Connor Cody isn't involved. I think you can lure this type of player in. And I think this is what Wolves need. Some quality, some experience in the team. Now, I think I did one of these type of videos 3 or 4 years ago, and I said João Moutinho then to join Wolves. And I think even at the time I was kidding myself thinking, what am I on about? And it happened. And I think if Wolves could put their money where their mouth is and sign this calibre of player, to back Bruno Lage and to show we mean business, I think it is now, it's the best time to bring him in when you're not having to spend any money on a transfer fee. Again, I think there's some big teams looking at him, like Monaco. I think Spurs are linked with him, but let's see. Let's try and make a move for him and see what we could do. And to finish off my list, I've gone with a pretty safe option in terms of a player that knows the Premier League very, very well in Ryan Bertrand. Now, the left-back situation at Wolves is a strange one. We have got 3 left-backs on the books as it stands. We've got Ryan Aït-Nouri, Marcel and Johnny. Now, Johnny we know is going to be injured for a large chunk of the season once again, possibly up until about Christmas time. Marcel, is just unreliable. I think if you have an offer for him this summer, whether it be for nothing, just to get him off the wage bill and get him off the books, I think you'd be daft not to really strongly consider it. And Aït-Nouri, as it stands, we don't know what's going on. There's conflicting reports there, whether we're going to sign him or whether we're not going to sign him. So I think either way, if you can get Marcel off your books, if you sign Ryan Aït-Nouri, someone like Ryan Bertrand would be a very, very good option to bring in. Someone, again, that's add experience to the squad. Someone that, again, adds homegrown, is an English player, adds homegrown quota to your registration for the Premier League. And just, he's a quality player overall. Of course, a Champions League winner with Chelsea, played in that Champions League final. I'll get his percentiles up. I don't think they're doing many favours, to be honest. They're very, very underwhelming when you look at that scouting report right there. But been very, very... had loads of game time, really, at Southampton, hasn't he? Been at Southampton since the 2014-15 season and just played so much for them. So I think as a player, again, you could do a lot worse than Ryan Bertrand. And I think as a rotation or backup option for Aït-Nouri, I think a lot of fans like Aït-Nouri, but possibly just don't think he's quite ready to have a full Premier League season just yet. And I think sprinkle a bit of Ryan Bertrand in there, and you could be onto a winner. I know as it stands, he's looking at possibly a move to Leicester City. Of course, giving him that chance of possibly playing European football, which he may not get the opportunity to play again. But money talks, and possibly another signing in Ryan Bertrand. So guys, let me know your thoughts on my list of players there. Are there any other defenders that you know that are out of contract that I should have included on this list? So we've got Nicolo Maximovic, Nicholas Nkulu, El Said Husaj, Jerome Boateng and Ryan Bertrand. Guys, as always, be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'll be back over the next couple of days with the next 2 parts of this series. And until next time, I'll see you all very, very soon.